Hello students, I hope you would all be fine. Today we are going to discuss The Death of the Hired Man by Robert Frost. Let's start 61 to onward. He ran on Harold Wilson. You remember the boy you had in hang 4 years since. He has finished school and teaching in his college. Silas declares you'll have to get him back. He says they two will make a team for work. Between them, they will lay this farm as smooth. The way he mixed that in with other things, he thinks young Wilson a likely lad, though daft on education. You know how they fought all through July under the blazing sun. Silas up on the cart to build the load, Harold along beside to pitch it on. Yes, I took care to keep well out of earshot. Let's explain these lines 61 to 73. She also tells Warren that she was filled with such a sense of oddity at his condition that twice or thrice she turned and looked at him to find out if he was awake or was talking in sleep. In the course of his mumblings, Silas started talking about Harold Wilson. Here Mary asks Warren if he remembers the boy, Harold Wilson, whom he had employed for haymaking 4 years ago. Harold Wilson had now finished his school education and is teaching in a college. She then tells Warren that Silas wants him to take Wilson back into his service and says that the two would work as a team and clear up his farm thoroughly. Mary further says that according to Silas, Wilson, though a fool in spite of his education, was still as fit to work on the farm as he did in the past. At this point, Mary reminds Warren how in intense heat of July they used to quarrel. Silas standing on the cart loading the hay sacks and Wilson by his side fixing the load. Warren tells Mary that on such occasions he deliberately kept himself away from the scene. Let's start reading from 74 line to 90 lines. Well, those days troubled Silas like a dream. You wouldn't think they would. How some things linger. Harold's young college boy's assurance piqued him. After so many years, he still keeps finding good arguments he sees he might have used. I sympathize. I know just how it feels to think of the right things to say too late. Harold's associated in his mind with Latin. He asked me what I thought of Harold's saying. He studied Latin like the violin because he liked it. Then an argument. He said he couldn't make the boy believe he could find water with a hazel prong, which showed how much good school had ever done him. He wanted to go over that, but most of all, he thinks if he could have another chance to teach him how to build a load of hay. Let's explain 74 to 90 lines. Resuming her speech, Mary tells Warren that Silas's memories cause him irritation, like a bad dream. She doubts that Warren may not believe her, but the fact remains that such remembrance stays in one's mind and causes trouble. The self assurance of Wilson, a young educated boy, had wounded the pride of Silas. Even after so many years, he tries to find strong arguments with which he could have met Wilson in those former days. Mary says that she has sympathy for Silas and adds that she is aware of the feelings of a man who comes to know of better arguments which he should have given him, but could not because they occurred to him afterwards very late. Whenever Silas thinks of Harold, he also thinks of his Latin presumption. Mary also tells Warren that Silas sought her opinion on Wilson's affirmation that he studied Latin as he had learned violin playing because he felt attracted to it. Mary says that it was a funny argument. Silas told Mary that in former days he tried to convince Wilson of his ability to discover water with the help of a sharp pointed hazel stick, but he could not. This assertion of Silas showed that school education had done little good to Wilson. Silas now wishes to do all this, but above all, now he wishes to teach the boy the art of hang loading. But of course, if he gets an opportunity to do so. So, student, this is the explanation of the lines from 61 to 90.